Welcome to Our Story, a podcast where ordinary people share extraordinary stories. My name is Atharva, and today I'm joined by Krystian. What's up, buddy?
Sup, dude? Thanks for having me.
For sure. Long time, no see, no talk.
It
And we're talking about almost a decade now, man.
Not definitely. I mean, yeah, we went to the academy. I left the academy in like 2010, I think. Yeah, that was holy crap.
It's been a decade. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So, Krystian, just to get things started, if I were to look up your bio up in Wikipedia, what would the first paragraph say?
Damn. Tough question. I mean, it would be immigrant from Poland, who's now an aspiring chef, living in Hillsborough, New Jersey. Just living his life with a girl he freaking loves. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to live life as simple and as happy as I can. I mean, since I was 18, I tried the whole college thing. It was it didn't work out for me the first, no, I tried it. It wasn't meant for me. So since then I've always tried to got to make sure I'm always, I mean, it could be because my parents were always pushing me, making sure I'm always make sure you have a job, make sure you're going to be able to afford a family. And, I mean, we're all on the same boat, but for me, it's always I always worked I worked a job from 3 p.m. to 11. That was for a while, working as a limo dispatcher reservationist. And then in the morning, I took on a job working from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. just to always be making money. And then my brother-in-law actually picked me up, and I started working in the kitchen in a corporate job. And it's basically first it was starting as a cashier, and he's like, no, come back here, start chopping these lemons.
Okay, very cool.
Yo,
So let me roll back the clock a little bit. You said
it's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, we'll cover it all. It's so
Cool.
interesting right off the bat. You said immigrant from Poland. Now, did you were you born there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was born in 93. I came here in 97 when I was 4.
Okay.
So I mean, I went through the whole school system normal here. Started off, I was in ESL till first grade, still with, an accent and stuff like that.
Okay. So are you still fluent in Polish? Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, I
Polish?
mean, yeah, Polish. We speak it in the house. I mean, when I lived at my parents' house, it was our daily thing. Growing up, my parents would if we spoke English in the house. I'm so thankful for my parents. My mom had a notebook where we would have to write I will not speak English in the house in Polish 100 times, just so it pushed through. And really, we went to Polish school every Friday and Saturday growing up, so we learned Polish history, Polish literature. It was I'm so happy to have that as part of me.
That's awesome, and I know you carried that identity with pride. I remember that for sure. I remember you had a jacket with the Polish flag.
Oh yeah,
on it.
Polish flag, Polish eagle, the whole thing.
That's awesome. And we had a few Polish friends in our friend group. Well, I'm thinking of Gerald, but I don't know who else.
Yeah, I mean,
Thinking of your sister as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny at the academy, because it was such small classes. Every year, basically, had one or two Polish people. You know what I'm saying? I think it was my sister was the senior at the time. Then I think you had Joanna Widnicka. She was and then then it was our year. Then under Kamil Radecki, he was every year we just had I mean, it's a good group to no matter it is so weird. I can know no one, but then it turns out you're oh, I'm Polish. Do you know that one Polish person from Linden? And it's oh my God, we're somehow all connected.
It's a small world for sure. And I mentioned this in my earlier podcast. That is why I love New Jersey. It's a melting pot of so many cultures. And, folks maybe just know it from Jersey Shore, or, we get such a bad rep, but
yeah,
it's so rich in culture, and that just shows it. And actually, I'm living in Buffalo now, and there's a big Polish population here.
Oh crap.
And I knew a lot of the culture right off the bat because I hang out with you guys.
Yeah,
All
that's
the
cool.
foods and everything. Yeah,
Yo.
that's awesome. And explain, folks, the academy. Like our high school is pretty unique. I think you would agree.
Oh,
Paint us a picture of what our high school looked like for folks.
it's a science, mathematics, engineering, like STEM classes. Like, no other school would you take a hour and a half of engineering every single day. Everything else rotated. You had block scheduling, that was cool, but every day. And then that kind of school attracts a certain kind of people. Like it was like, like, yes, we had our people who played sports, but it was just like the like little niche people that were like, the into anime and new, like wanted to like read the like newest book. Like it was just, but actually cared about you. Maybe because your class size was, under 40 people, you got to know everybody. And it's,
Yep. I think you just said a nice way of calling all of us nerds.
hey, it is what it is. It, I take that as like, it helped me, like, yes, maybe I never went into a field of, science, mathematics, engineering, or anything like that, but the way everyone thought definitely rubbed off on me. The way everyone organized their life, like I was able to, like, yeah, even though the academy ended up not being for me, I went back to public school in South Amboy. But I took everything I learned from the people, from the way you interacted with each other. Like, take that second and learn about the person you're working, you're doing a group project with, because at the academy it was like a family. So even though like the high school was more people and like you didn't know who the seniors were, the juniors, it's like if you run across someone in the hallways or in the hallways of life, like take 2 seconds, learn about them, what they're doing.
Yeah. So the full name of our high school, if I remember this correctly, it's Middlesex County Academy for Science, Mathematics, and Engineering Technology.
Yes.
That's the full name.
Like,
and to paint a picture of the school, like we had to apply from our middle school to get into this, take an entrance exam, do an on-site interview, and then you were given an offer letter. And we talked about like hundreds of people applied to this.
Oh
school.
yeah, 100%.
And just to apply, like you had to get recommendation from like your guidance counselor and have to have like good grades and all that. So just getting into the school was like almost a college application process.
Well, I think part of that test was taking the like part of the HESPA or something like that.
Yeah, the 11th grade standardized test. Yeah.
In 8th grade, like what is that?
Yeah, so in 8th grade, we took the 11th grade standardized test as our entrance exam.
Yeah.
Yep. So long story short, we were a pretty nerdy school, and we carried that with pride.
Oh yeah.
And for sure, yeah. And then you said the class sizes were small, and when you say 40 people, we're talking about 40 people for your entire class of 2000, whatever it was, 2011.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah. And it was like 20 kids per classroom, and then 120-ish kids in the whole high school.
Yeah.
So everyone knew everyone. All the teachers knew you by first, middle, and last name basis.
Yep. Yeah.
Like you knew each other's families, you knew each other in and out, and like you hung out with each other all the time. So we were a very tight-knit group, I would say.
Yes.
And that's where like our friendship grew. And I remember specifically our morning. So because we were from all over the county, our bus rides would be, I think my bus ride one year was like an hour, like 15 minutes from the time I got into the bus and like got into the school. So we got really close on times where we spent on the bus and then like the morning sessions and lunch and then everything in between. So the culture was not a typical high school culture at all. Would you agree?
Oh no, I would. I felt like a lot of times there was a lot of like downtime. Because like, there was kids who would like I think my bus, I literally had a minivan because there was only like 4 of us from our district. So we would show up first, like our bus would drop us off at like 7 in the morning, 7:30, but everyone else got dropped off. There was still for Medicine, Woodbridge, everywhere. And it was like, 8:30, everyone. So for an hour, like we were, we had like we would use it as study time, do our homework, obviously that we didn't do the night before, and but like because we had like our, uh, um, the communal like lobby, we all learned from each other, like like it was quick, like freshman year I was doing, like who as a freshman ever took engineering classes, but the sophomores, juniors, seniors, they were like, oh, come here, let me show you how the program I used, and we showed each other shortcuts, and it's like how to like and it was a very nice kind of situation that we kind of grew up
Yeah,
in.
and it was challenging to say the least. And we were paired with, I would say we were like the average kids in the class. Like we were probably
Oh
one
yeah,
of the better kids in middle school. But when we got into this pool,
it was like above our heads.
above our heads, so I would say we just like held our own. We by no means were we like valedictorian level, but by no means were we like, not able to keep up. So
Yeah,
uh, our friend group was pretty tight knit because of that setting, I would say.
yeah.
And then walk us through your transition back to like, so it was a public school, right? It was still a public school, but it was like a charter public school, so it was a small setting. And
Yeah.
then I think your junior year, you transitioned to like a typical public school, like a bigger high school, normal
Yeah.
size,
Well, so
town high school.
I mean, South Amboy it's still a small town. They have a middle high school. Like so you have in one building you still have grades 7 through 12. So
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
so it was a little, I mean, it's a little more normal than the academy, but I mean I think the graduating class was 96 people.
Oh, okay, so it's just like 2x of our
Yeah,
graduating
exactly.
class.
So it was, I mean, but it still was a lot more classes, electives, like, like it wasn't the academy where you got to take, college classes because it was on site of the Middlesex, but it was just like, um, it was, it was a little bit different, they focused more on sports and like, it was nice to kind of like bringing it from such a high level to a good level, but it just kind of helped me focus. Like maybe math and science weren't my thing. I focused more on my art. I started thinking about doing photography the first year of like getting out of that high school. I did like a semester of photography. That wasn't for me either. But it just like throughout my experiences so far, anything I do has helped me like knock out what I don't want to do, kind of thing.
Yeah, it helped you shape into like what your or narrow down what your passions
Yeah.
are. I remember actually photography. You had this really cool camera where I think it was like an old film type camera where you could take like multiple pictures on one exposure.
Yeah, so that is, it's called lomography. It's like an old, literally like it's an empty plastic. There's no actual like switches in there. You just kind of like you roll the full film in. You kind of like basically you cover half the film. You like open up the lens. It takes the picture. You close it. You spin around the cover, and then it lets in. It's a very like it was just. I mean, I like photography. I still like, even still, I always have my like camera with me to take photos, but it was just something I don't know, maybe there was it just didn't pique my interest the way that like cooking
Like
does
as a
now.
profession or something, but
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah.
hobby is still there.
Oh no, 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 no.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it helps me with like even when I'm cooking, like it helps me get that nice angle when I want to show a recipe to people. It's like that photography from doing it in high school helped me to what I'm doing now.
Yeah, and I remember you always had like a keen interest for the latest technology. I think you were like the first, like this is back in like a decade ago. You had like the first person to have like a terabyte hard drive. I remember
Yes.
like that was a big deal when we
Uh,
were talking about it back then because like
yeah,
flash drives back then were like 256 megabytes, and that
yeah,
was like
like
the normal for us. And then you're like,
yeah.
oh, I got a terabyte hard drive. I'm like,
Right.
what are you gonna do with all
Oh,
that?
yo, I mean, and because that's where like I kept all my photos. Like we would do, uh, in engineer, what in Mr. Lopak's class did the engineering documentation team I was on. Like it was just kind of like save, save, save. I mean, it was like a hard drive. You still have to like keep a like a external power source to like power it, kind of thing. And now a terabyte
Yeah,
fits into something that
in this
big.
tiny little thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, we're aging ourselves. I don't even feel that old, but talking about it makes
Yeah.
us like sound like we're really old. But yeah, so we went to a super nerdy high school. Like I said, the focus was on math, science, engineering, and uh, I think you transitioned to normal high school. When I say normal, like quote unquote,
Yeah.
like a traditional high
And
school.
yeah.
I think your junior year, and then walk us through how like you would evolve from that to like aspiring chef. Like what other journeys did you take in between?
I
Because I
mean,
think that's when we didn't see each other that frequently. Like we went
yeah.
just like hanging out every single minute of the day for
Yeah.
3 years straight, and then like seeing each other maybe here and there
And then
afterwards.
yeah, I mean it was definitely rocky, right? So like I left the academy. I wasn't up to par towards the end of it. Like I just couldn't keep up, whether it was not doing the homework. Like it was, come on, all our teachers had like PhDs, and like it was just like,
Yeah, they were doctors. Yeah.
yeah, like so it was. So then when I went to like the regular high school, it just kind of helped me figure out what I wanted to keep doing, keep pushing forward. That's when I kept like, doing the photography thing, did college. And then eventually, like after a year, I tried photography for a semester, and then accounting to do, for a semester. That wasn't for me either. And then from the ages of like 19 to 22, 23, it was job from job. Like for 6 months, I worked at a Best Buy warehouse repairing DVD players, kind of thing. I've worked. I mean, and then all as like every weekend, whether I was working one job or another, I was always working at a catering hall, a banquet hall, working as a waiter, caterer, like setting up fruit displays. And it was like I've always been in kitchen since I was like
Mhm.
15 years old, in a little banquet hall in Perth Amboy called ZPA, Polish, Polish place. And like I was always around kitchens, always around food. I ended up working for a family friend's limo company as a reservationist. I think at that time I was maybe around 20.
And correct me if I'm wrong, like you had a job since I think you were working in high school too, like under the table. I remember you would say like, "Oh, I was up till like so and so because I was at work."
Yeah,
And
so
all of us were just like, normally would just be, "Oh yeah, it took us forever to do this homework," and you're like, "Oh yeah, I was at work." Like you were working from early, early.
yeah.
Do you think that was just like your own doing, or is that just
Oh,
like the
I mean
immigrant like
that
hustle?
I would call it the immigrant hustle, just because it's like I see my parents like busting their butt to provide for us and then for me to like, like it was from banquet halls to working at a limo to working for a valet company. So since like, the age of like 15, working as a crossing guard, just to like, making, $50 a night, just to so then at the end of the summer I can buy myself a PlayStation, kind of thing, so my parents didn't have to get it for me. And then then eventually I got a license. I became was valeting. So even to this day I can, the old owner of that valet company will still hit me up, hey, if you want to pick up an extra shift. And if it's like, if I have the time, if I have the means, I'm gonna do it. If I can, hey, that's one, I can buy my girlfriend a nice, like set of roses, then I'll go do it. Like it's like, and if it's happy for me, like I'm not, it's not just like grind until you can't do it. But if it's like,
Yeah.
you know
I
um
remember that about you because you would always have like you'd buy just the latest things and you'd be like, "Yeah, I bought it with my own money." I always remember you saying that.
yeah,
And yeah, you worked. Man, you worked early on. Like I think freshman and sophomore year, you were
yeah,
already working,
yeah,
and I think you just carried that hustle all the way through. That's awesome.
yeah.
And then now talk us through how that's evolved into what you're pursuing now, like this passion for cooking.
Yeah. So, I mean, so the way I got cooking, my brother-in-law got me into a kitchen 5 years ago. I'm 26 now. And 5 years ago got me into the kitchen, cutting lemons, marinating chicken, very like simple stuff. Okay, now do this. Teaching me this by this. This is why this happens. And then I just kind of like really fell in love, because in that kitchen, um, I learned how to like nothing goes to waste. Like, you know, like you're peeling your carrots, you save your scraps, you save your onion scraps. Like you take that, you cook it, you boil it, you make a stew. Like it was a very nice like culture. One, because I was working with my brother-in-law, a, a, a guy who is now like one of my best friends. He like, we just, it's a good overall atmosphere. I don't know if it's because in the kitchen, a lot of times it is a lot of immigrants working, people from Latin countries, from like the Caribbean, like people who like generally understand really hard work ethic, and that like just resonated with me so hard. So whether it was from that corporate kitchen, then I worked at the New Jersey National Golf Club as a saute cook. One of a friend of mine, he pulled me in. He's now the head chef up there. He taught me you know, that's where you do like the nice dishes with like the sauces and like the really
Got
nice,
it. The Instagram worthy dishes.
Yeah. So like that was one part of it. And then after a while, I was still trying to like, what can I do more and more? Cause I've never like, I was never really like classically trained, never went to school for it, but I just liked picking up through the experiences how to do everything.
Learn by doing kind of thing.
Yeah. And then it just you know, I mean, so it was at a golf course. So during like the winter, they would like slow down, close down, because nobody's playing golf in the winter, obviously. Then I got a chance to work for a meal prep company called Eat Clean Bro, and they do volumes of food, right? So I worked for them for almost 2 years.
So by the way, like what job, like how many jobs are we up to now? Like,
I mean, there's never a point in my time. I was always working or almost working 2 jobs at all times.
Simultaneously. Okay.
There was always a period of like 3 or 4 months on the back end or the front end of working a job where I feel really bad just being like, hey, I got a new job here, even if it's like my 2 weeks and then I gotta go kind of thing. Like I'm still trying to like work, learn, and then be like, okay, I can definitely do this new job. So I'm gonna try to push off like slowly doing less hours, and then continue on to the next thing. Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. So like that loyalty piece, you were just wanted like, hey, thanks for the opportunity. I gave it my all, and you know,
I mean, to my knowledge, I don't think I've burned any bridges. Because like that first corporate job helped me get the golf club job. That golf club job and all that experience
helped me like snowballed into what you had. So what are you doing today? Like what does today look like? Are you still in New Jersey, by the way?
Yes, I am in New Jersey, Hillsborough, New Jersey. So basically, so after working for the meal prep company, I learned how to like, you know, everything's prioritized, right? You have like one guy that just does the proteins, right? The chicken, the meat, the, you know, whatever. One guy that just does the vegetables. And it's like in like organizing so many moving pieces, like you can really like figure out when it comes down to your own kitchen, how you should prep things. Like you'll realize, wait, how long does one piece of chicken take to cook? And how long does it take me to saute up some spinach? Like before, like, oh wait, hold on, let me start cooking the spinach. Wait, I didn't even get the chicken on yet, even though the spinach you want put more effort on it because you want that to come out amazing. Like it just like working in all these kitchens, you realize what becomes more important. And
got it. Yeah. So here's the thing. I microwave most of my stuff I eat. So like what you're saying is like mouth watering already. So
dude,
that's awesome. I think next time we see each other, we're due for a tasting.
Yo, I'm down. Like I will set it up. But we'll definitely do this. First of all, Buffalo. Like goddamn, I can't wait to hear that story. Like why are you up in Buffalo?
And through work. Long story short, through work. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's home now. You'll be surprised. There's a big Polish population here.
I've heard. I heard they have like a big festival, like pierogi.
Dingus Day.
Yo, Dingus Day. Amazing. There's so many. Like I'm like, how do you guys not know about this? It goes intense.
Yes. Dingus Day is a city holiday. I feel like the whole city is Polish on that day.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Dude, you're come up here. You're due for a visit. No, welcome anytime.
Yo, I mean, and I heard Buffalo has pretty good food scene. So
That's for sure. Like we have a motto here. Like if you go hungry in Buffalo, it's on you. The serving sizes are good for like 5 people. One
Yeah,
serving size, it's huge.
true.
Yeah, and the food here is definitely good.
So real quick, let me kind of finish up to how I
Oh,
got to
go
where
ahead.
I am. Yeah. So I worked at Eat Clean Bro. That was all the way in Freehold, New Jersey. But at the time, like after a year and a half, I moved in with my girlfriend up in Hillsborough, New Jersey. So one way, that was like 55 miles, right? And on a daily commute to drive one way, 50, like it could be, sometimes I would be in traffic one way, an hour and a half. Uh,
Yeah, and it's
so
Jersey traffic, so it's not like
It's not,
rest of
yeah.
America
No,
traffic.
no, 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 no. It is Jersey traffic, like full on Route 9, then 287, just sitting in traffic.
Yep.
But so then, actually, the first corporate kitchen that hired me, where my brother-in-law was working, they were opening up like a second satellite kitchen, and then like 10 miles away from Hillsborough. It's in Bridgewater, and they, like, a friend of mine was the sous chef there. She like was, reached out, and she was just kind of like, hey, come in for an interview. Like, you have the experience working with the kitchen here, the staff here, you know how everything works. Like, let's give it a shot. So I came in. The head chef there, I think, I did a little chef test for him, cooked him a little food. I think I was enough like competent where he was like, yeah, this guy can, work, work out. And then I've been working at that corporate kitchen. Now I'm working Monday through Friday. I go in at 6 a.m. I'm home by 3 p.m. Like, and like the I loved working at the meal prep company. But the only thing is, like, I would go into work at 6 p.m. and I would come home at 6 a.m. because then the drivers would deliver all the meals we cooked. They would leave the building by, noon. So they had to have all those meals ready and cooked off and everything like that. It was fresh. It was like I loved working there because everything was literally top to bottom delicious, fresh, like butchering the night before. Like it was really good. But overall,
So
I
you do it from start to end, like you could do it all,
yes, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
cooking wise. Okay,
Oh
that's
yeah,
awesome.
there's some things I haven't done as often as I wanted to, but you give me a salmon, I'll fillet it, I'll butcher it. I mean, I've honestly, after working so many like Mother's Day brunches, and like the amount of salmon that goes through at a Mother's Day brunch is no joke.
I would have never guessed. Yeah, that's awesome.
You
So
know,
if I were to ask you, like, what is your specialty? Like, what is like the chef's special on the menu for your restaurant?
uh it it is that's a very it would probably be some kind of salad with like pickled beets and vegetables. I
Okay, so
the
you're
one
speaking to me now. It's because I can't eat meat.
No, I am telling you, like, even though I love working with a nice pork, like, Korean pork belly, like seared and everything. Like, uh, I love like Asian food, but I love like the vegetarian side. Like, because when I first worked at the first corporate place, I worked salad bar for I believe it was at least 6 months. The amount of like love I fell in love for like making vinaigrettes from anything. You have leftover berries, you blend them, you add some oil, some vinegar, bam, like that's a sauce. And then making hummuses and falafel, and like the amount of flavor you can get out of herbs and vegetables. And it's like there's like no chicken in the world can compare. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got like the 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 fat melting off of a burger, that's obviously like uncomparable, but like there's the amount of flavor you can get into some of these vegetarian dishes is just beyond amazing. Like,
Dude, awesome. I can't wait to try this. So I have a memory actually. I don't know if you remember this, but you had invited us for your birthday, and I forget which year in high school, freshman,
yeah,
sophomore, well, I forget when. And your mom had cooked us like food and everything. We were down in your basement that night, and I remember thinking, it's like, hey, I wonder if there's anything that here I could eat. And I was the only one that was sitting around. Like, I didn't have like a full plate of food in my hand. I still had like some things, like there was like salad and everything.
Yeah.
And I forget if it was your dad or mom or someone, or maybe it was your sister. Someone came up to me like, "Why aren't you eating? Like, you can't be in this house and not eat." So
Yeah.
I told him like, "Hey, I don't eat meat." Like, I remember your mom went up and made me stuffed shells right off the bat, and she's like, "You can't leave this house like
Yeah.
without eating a full meal." So she made me stuffed shells and even made the sauce like without meat. And to this day, I claim that is the best stuffed shell I've ever had, hands down. It was so good.
I will definitely be letting her know that. Like, yeah, she's I mean, I guess I love hosting. I mean, maybe that's why I love cooking so much, because now, like, I mean, living with my girlfriend, like, I love making meals, and I'm like, here, take it to your friends at work, have them try this, but I need to know how it tasted. Like, you know, be like, I now with like, so my job right now, I'm on like furlough, obviously, because of this whole, you know, COVID thing. But they, you know, luckily it's a good corporate job. And they're like, when this is all over, we're going back in it and we're all done. So in the meantime, to like keep myself busy, I've started, you know, posting cooking videos, like learning, like, I mean, relearning how to use my camera, because it's obviously different than just taking a photo and setting up, you know, the angles. And first, when do I talk to people? When do I not talk to people? And when I'm explaining things. But I think I fell in love into cooking because it helps me talk to people. Like, it's, you know, whether having a 4th of July party and just doing burgers, hot dogs, everyone bring a little bit, but we can all get together around.
So you're the guy on the grill.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. You know, making my own sauces so like everyone can try it out. Like, yeah, everyone can go to the store, but like, it's a community thing. Like, I mean, no one else, like, no, why do we hang out? We all hang out to eat food. As much as I want to see people, like, anytime anyone hangs out, it revolves around food. And if you can make,
awesome, yeah.
like, you know, and if the least, like, no one has anything to say, you can always be like, God damn, that was like a delicious, like, you know, bacon wrapped scallop or anything like that, you know? Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell me more about your YouTube channel. What is it called? What kind of videos are you posting?
Yeah, so right now, my YouTube channel, it's just me cooking my meals, trying to explain them as best to my knowledge. Like, there's some cooking terms that are like that I don't use on a daily basis, or I'm trying to use my wording to like get it across the board. It is, I don't, if you find, I think it's Krystian K1493. Just look it up on YouTube. Something we'll throw down a link.
That's the channel name, the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because technically, to have like youtube.com/Krystian or whatever, I have to have like at least 100 subscribers. Right now, I'm like working up that goal. Hopefully I get there. And if not, it's really just for me to keep myself sane. There was only so many days I can do laundry, do dishes, like, you know, make like this is giving me something to do every day. Like, me, like, because like we're not going out as often to the store. I know I have like, so we have 2 fridges. I know what I have in both freezers, what I need to pull out every day. Like, okay, in 2 days I'm going to be recording this video, so I know I need to pull the ribs out of this freezer, make this sauce in that meantime, so by the time the second day comes on video, I already have the sauce made, the ribs are ready. Like, and it gives me a
There's so much that goes into it that honestly I would have never thought. Like, for me, it's like, all right, grab something off the fridge, put it in the microwave, eat a meal.
Yeah.
So that's the lifestyle I've been living, unfortunately. But that is so good to hear. One thing I do want to ask is, you know, you mentioned getting to the 100 subscribers. Like, just watching your videos, it looks like professionally made. Like, I don't really understand the chef like nuances as well, but just watching those and like watching random stuff that comes up on your feed about cooking show, like I would have not been able to differentiate. So I could say firsthand that I think that 100 subscriber thing is just like a matter of time. Like, keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, everything I've gone through, like going through my like photography phase, definitely is helping me get this point across to everybody. Like, yes, maybe eventually I would have got to cooking, but if I didn't go through like that, knowing how to, you know, adjust the aperture and the shutter speed and all that good stuff, and messing with like the quality of my videos maybe wouldn't have been the same. And it just but maybe it's also, it takes me longer to do my videos sometimes because I'm recording it, because I'm editing, the light and this and that. Sometimes the meal can actually take me half an hour to make, but I spend 2 hours recording it.
Got it. Yeah. So here's what I'm hearing. Like everything that you've kind of experienced has been a building block to pursue the passion that you've found today. Would you say that's accurate?
Oh yes, 100%.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So that kind of leads me to my next question. Like, what is your life motto? Like, how do you, wake up every day and say like, this is how I'm going to live my life today?
Uh, Honestly, as long as it's probably like, as long as I'm happy, nothing else matters. Like, I mean, yeah, that's probably it. Like I've had, opportunities to keep working in big kitchens, like keep work. I could have been, but like the fact that now I am home Monday through Friday, I have time to hang out with my girlfriend, cook her dinner, hang out with our dogs, go to the park, relax, like right, do a puzzle together. That is more valuable to me than like, yes, there's parts of me where I want to like keep advancing and cooking and learning and maybe take a course. I just bought the master class, so now I'm learning, like doing little things on there, which it's very, like, I love it. Like I just bought a whole chicken to like really learn how to like butcher down a chicken.
Oh, okay.
Like, and then maybe I'll make a meal out of that, fried chicken or something. But in general, like I am more happy now than I've ever been, like going from job to job. One, because now I've realized, like, before I was doing it to kind of like prove to my parents, like, hey, I'm still trying to make money. I'm still busting, like making sure they saw that I was busting my butt. But now it's like the best way for me to show, like, the best for my parents is to do best for myself. So for me,
well said.
So that's how, like, maybe yes, if I kept jumping from restaurant to restaurant to keep going up, I could be making more money, but I would not be happier. And in the end, I know my parents would not be happy if I'm not happy.
Yeah, dude, so well said. I'm so happy to like see you like happy. It's awesome.
Thanks, dude.
And then last thing is if there was one piece of advice you could give me right now, or just in general, what is that piece of advice?
Ooh, damn. Pasta takes 5 minutes to cook. Yo, just boil that water, throw a little bit of
Oh
pasta.
man, you'll be so disappointed in me and my eating habits, man.
Yo, all I'm saying, I mean, it is not healthy, but the fact that like mac and cheese is like at least every 2 weeks we eat mac and cheese, because it like when we can't think of what to eat, when we can't think of what to make, like my girlfriend and I, it's just literally boil water, throw pasta in it, drain it, and then a quick cheese sauce is, I always have heavy cream in the house. So you some heavy cream in a pot, and whatever cheeses you have a block of cheddar, you have some Swiss, you have whatever cheeses, you throw that crap in there, let it melt, and then pour it over the pasta, throw it, like, it is, that's the easiest thing. Like,
I've got a proposition for you.
What's up?
I know your YouTube channel has like really fancy meals and they are really high end, look really good.
Yeah.
Start a series where it's just like recipes for people like me.
I mean, they are. I mean, a lot of the thing, like, what did I do? I mean, the last meal I did was a poached egg with mushrooms on white toast.
That sounds too fancy for me, man.
I mean, so fine, don't poach the egg, just fry the egg. But it's just cooking up the mushrooms, like a little bit of oil, throw down the mushrooms, throw a piece of toast in the toaster, and then crack an egg on top. Like, and that is like delicious. It is about like, it is not about the craziest, fanciest meals. Yeah, okay. The one time I posted a video, I think last week, with like chicken liver pate, but that's because I had a lot of chicken liver left over. But yes, they're very simple meals. As long as you give those ingredients the love they deserve, it doesn't have to be complicated. Like I said, mac and cheese. I think I posted a mac and cheese a couple of videos back, and that was just literally boil the pasta, drain the pasta, throw a cheese sauce on it.
All right, I'm going to take that as inspiration and make mac and cheese today just for you.
Beautiful. Can't wait.
Hey, awesome, man. It's so nice catching up, man. I love it. And hopefully our paths cross soon. When I'm back in Jersey, when this whole COVID-19 situation's
Yes,
over,
yes, definitely.
let's get together, get some tastings in there. Can't
Oh,
wait to try this stuff out.
we'll set it
And
up.
hopefully, I walk into your restaurant one day and get a special seat at a table.
100%.
Awesome, love it, buddy. Take care, and
You
I'll
too.
see you around.
You too, dude. See ya.
Bye.